Hi, and welcome to the Lifestyle Show with me, Pam Joseph. We have been away for a little while, and we're back and raring to go. And keeping in line with government advice with social distancing, don't you know, I'm broadcasting from my humble abode. Now, in these strange times, we obviously have a great deal to talk about, and not just in the UK, but covering the impact of COVID-19 on our Caribbean islands. We also want to send out positive messages and inspirational news as well to lighten our spirits. So for the next few hours, I request that you please stay tuned, as you're going to be entertained and informed by myself and my guests. So at this point, I'd like to bring in my fellow conspirator, if you will, the Dark Persuader, Anthony Jordan.
We're back. How are you, Pam?
Nice to see you.
Likewise. Virtual hug, as they say.
There you are. And
yes.
The kisses.
That's the one. Welcome back, Lifestyle. Oh my God, the excitement, the energy. I can't believe it. This is great. Thank you. Thank you to Media. Thank you to everyone. Yes.
But it's good. It's different. We've never been off air.
I know. That's the great bit. The great bit.
So, I mean, we've got sort of like a real packed show as always, but I mean, we've got a packed show today. We've got some really inspirational, guests on our show, but we've also got some, maybe kind of a bit sad news. And I'm going to say the first one because it's going to be on your, the entertainment corner, Anthony, the sad news that we've heard about a passing.
Yes. Oh, what a shock. Classic rock, Little Richard gone. That was, I was blown. I'll hands up, honest. It was your text message that alerted me to it. I was like, "What? Who? No!" It was just such a drop. In this time, not to say happy to say, but it wasn't Corona. It was good living, if you would. He had a good run, as they say, and sadly, Father Time caught up. But it was still a heartbreak nonetheless. I was completely shocked and heartbroken. And rest in peace to a legend of music who, though the body may not be here, he will last forever. Yeah, we will be seeing more of that later on for sure.
Excellent. And who else have you got on the show?
Who else? A Lifestyle family member, as far as I'm concerned. Multi-award winning. I'll go through his listings later on, but it is Trini Boy Juicy, who's actually also got a Corona theme song out there. So we'll be hearing a bit of that, talking to him, see what he's been up to. Probably touch on the event in August that we all look forward to, see his views on it, as he is a patron. So good stuff to be coming up there as well.
Yeah, good. I also think we should mention, because we're in that climate right now, about VE Day, and particularly about our own, ancestors, if you will, that, definitely were a major part in the victory of Europe as well. Yeah.
Indeed. Do you know, it's one of the funny things, I think, again, VE Day, because we are celebrating that here, but globally, what our ancestors done, it's amazing in the war. In the wars. So it'll be such a brilliant way to pay tribute to them, because it's not been recognised as much as it should be. History has a way of writing itself sometimes, and it's good when the truth is uncovered and recognition is given.
Of course.
So I'm looking forward to hearing more of that for sure.
Yeah. And just before we came on air, to let you know, because Anthony, you would know this, and we've just received this literally as we came on air, that the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Alan Chastanet, is going to address the nation there to talk about the lockdown that's been happening. Obviously, everywhere has got a lockdown.
Globally, it's been
on the island of St. Lucia, and maybe giving out a new direction.
Wow.
And if we're lucky, we're gonna, before this show ends, we're going to get a link. So if anyone wants to tune in, it's going to be later on this evening. But if they could, want to know, they could hear at that very time that address to the nation in St. Lucia. So hopefully before the show ends, we can give that information out. Because we're so packed, I'm going to have to probably see if I can just head straight in, because right now we're going to be going. I'm going to wave you by, because I'm going on a sunny island right now. Can you believe? And hopefully we should be having Glenda and Rick Clark on the sunny island of Barbados, and hopefully that will come through, and they're going to be telling us about their experiences and, with their business and everything, as the impact of COVID-19 on that island as well. So that will come through very quickly. Then if I can quickly have a time, because I'm told that not quite yet. So just quickly let you know what's up on the show. we have our lovely favourite. I call her the gospel guru, don't I?
Indeed, she is.
The one and
She
only,
is
and
lovely.
yeah.
The explosion is back.
So she's going to be on. We also going to be having new faces to Lifestyle. A chap by the name of Julian Hawes, the ultrapreneur, not entrepreneur, Anthony, ultra.
That sounds interesting. I'm tuned in. I'm tuned in for that.
It's like it really whacks you, and you say that. You know, we've got a poet and author, Tinny Edwards. She's going to be coming up and talking about, what she's doing. And she's very inspirational. She's gone through things, and because of this lockdown, we're talking about mental well-being as well. Interesting.
Very important. Very important.
She has to say on that. We also have Patrick Vernon, OBE. Now, as we all know, there is a particular the Office of National Statistics have come out with a recent report to suggest that Black people, that includes males and females, are 4 times more likely to die of this dreadful disease, coronavirus, than our white counterparts. So he's got a lot of interesting aspects about that to say. And I do know that we could be the first on this. I'm not sure about that, but we've just been told that a campaign letter has just been issued today. There's scores of names, I mean, real proper names on this. They're wanting to know, let's open this out. Let's do a wider debate. This is addressed for the government to deal with. So that is a great thing in itself as well. We have understood after 50 years, never been stopped. What does that mean to you?
Well, this is what I was hinting at with our boy Trinny Boy Juicy. A bit of the old carnival, the Notting Hill Carnival. Yeah.
It's just like, wow. But I mean, it was kind of inevitable, right? Wouldn't you say?
With so many other celebrations around the world, let's talk World Cup, let's talk Olympics, Wimbledon, Glastonbury, Coachella. It kind of felt like it had to come, and heartbreaking though it is, it's for the best. Personally speaking, that's my view on it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, try doing a 2 meter distance there at the carnival.
You're lucky to get to 0.2 centimeters. Exactly.
I really know what we're talking about. This is a family show.
Listen. It's a family show, but Notting Hill Carnival can be quite intimate, dare I say.
A little bit more at times.
Well, I don't know what you're doing at Carnival. It's just, No, joking aside, it can be.
Thank you, and so we are going to be talking to our favourite carnival, our man in the carnival, Answer Wong. So he's going to be up and he's going to be talking to us a bit about that. It was a hard decision that they had to make, but it was the right decision to make. And let's see what he has to say further on. Yeah, indeed. So then, obviously he's going to have the entertainment corner, and it's all good. And it's like real. This is the impact as we've come back in the Lifestyle Show 2020. We was always going to come in spring, but I mean, we never saw this coming.
Yeah. Unforeseen, but we are unstoppable. That's the way to say it.
Indeed. Okay, so I'm hoping that we do have at this moment Glenda and Rick Clark. If I could be getting on with them. Glenda and Rick Clark, are you with us? The sunny island of Barbados. Do we have them? Do we not? But maybe not. So let's leave it. Let's just continue.
Let the ball keep rolling. Indeed.
Yeah, a bit of a problematic thing there. Let's move on to then my next guest, and I hope she is there. And I said it's our gospel guru, Annette B. Annette B, are you there? Hello. Are you there?
No, she's not here as yet. Not here as yet. So sadly, Lifestyle viewers, you're stuck with me.
No, I love it.
I'm down. Listen, I'm down. All I know is that basically Pam was talking about flying off to Barbados, leaving me here in my room, in my studio on my own. It's fine. Tough. Hey, Paula, nice to see you. And everyone else has been messaging, by the way. But yeah, I am happy to say I am staying. You can't get rid of me that easy because it's Lifestyle 2020. We're back and the Dark Persuader is doing his thing and he's stuck here.
Like
Tough.
always,
No, it's a big one. It's a big one.
But we also want to tell, you know, the viewers that they can interact, because we can get them to do it by various ways. You can email us any comments, whatever, lifestyle on Ben, or one word, lifestyle on Ben at hotmail.co.uk. Facebook page, Lifestyle on Ben. Don't forget the likes. Don't forget the likes. And Twitter at Lifestyle TV Show. All right.
That's the one. But bear in mind, that's for like your, how can I say this? Because some people are watching it here live with us through MediaNet Live, and you'll be catching it on Ben TV. So those elements are there. But we are live now. So if you head on over to the MediaNet Facebook page, you can actually put live comments, and we will see them at the bottom of the screen. So if there is a quick interactive question or comment, it's there. We will acknowledge it and take part and feedback as best as we can.
Yeah, this is it. It's all good. And let's talk a bit more about that, actually, when we say Ben Television, because as this goes out here like this, the following Friday, it's actually on the Sky platform. 458. Yeah.
Okay, 458. Nice,
458.
nice.
And that's our usual slot, you know, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. So
okay, right. So breaking news. Yeah. As much as I said I'm not going to move, it looks like I am, because the one and only Mr. Rick Clark is kicking me out. So if I'm going to be kicked out by Rick Clark is good enough. So I'm going to say my goodbyes. Check into 458. Keep it MediaNet Live right now, and I'm out till later. See ya.
See you later.
Oh, that's
right. Oh my gosh, the Clarks.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Right.
You're looking well tropical. Yeah, I think well tropical going on there. Glenda and Rick Clark, thank you ever so much for joining us on the Lifestyle Show. I mean, what a thing, COVID-19, you know, impacting globally the world. You know, this pandemic has just, you know, hit us all really well. We know you guys have kept up with what's going on in the UK, because of course you're obviously ex-UK Pats. Yeah. So you know what's going on. But what we want to know is what's going on over there. So can we talk to you about your own experiences of COVID-19, including the lockdowns, and how it's impacted on your business?
Well, it's been devastating. Everything's shut. You know, all like now we're allowed to go into the sea from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and then we have to come out of the sea and go back home and stay at home. And
how shocking! How shocking for you. We're not near the platform sea. We're the nearest thing we've got off. You know, it's great.
But you know, we're inside and stay, and nobody's on the streets. It's just unbelievable to be in this 2020 and then see what's going on here in the world. And it's all these different stories. We don't know what's really going on. People are lost. We don't know what's really happening. What is really happening? Everything's come to a standstill. It's stopped.
Yeah.
Life is,
curfew as well.
You know,
right? Curfew from what time going to what time of the evening? Did that just come through from the government?
Within the first week of Easter, we were allowed out from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And that seemed to work well. I think there was a lot of guidance they followed from the USA and the UK, and I think they kind of followed other countries, the major countries that we kind of see as the ones to look to. But within a few days, it seemed that a lot of people were flouting it. So they were going out more, they were congregating in bigger groups. And just that week of Easter, the Prime Minister Mia, put the lockdown to 24 hours. So we had to stay in. And that was more devastating because, of course, if you've got smaller properties and units where you're in bigger families, you know, with this heat and everything, and then you're in 24 hours. And that was purely because she had done the phases of the numbers. As soon as they started to increase that people were infected, she put in her phases and stopped people from going out until the numbers decreased.
Can I just ask you, what was the highest number that contracted COVID?
It was approximately in the range of 80 that it went up to. Within the first two phases, once it got over 25 was where she really wanted to kind of contain it. But yes, it's got up to 80, but we've had approximately 50 recovered, which is really, really fantastic news. And sadly, we have had 7 deaths up to now.
7 people.
And it is devastating, no matter what, up to the age of about 95-year-old. But it's it's sad news. You know, just one loss of life is just bad during this time, as you can imagine. So I think that prompted her to do that. But within the last 2 weeks, because they haven't had any increased cases, they have now opened it back up now. So as Rick had said, that we can now go to the sea, because that was on total lockdown to the sea. So now we're out from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. But you can go out now from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. during the daytime about your daily business. She's opened up the construction and other kind of daily work and essentials, except for, which I think is the same in the UK, hair salons, which is devastating, barbers, spas and hotels, restaurants. But you can have takeouts or deliveries. But yeah, so I think those are the last phases. And I think, again, as I said, I think they follow the lead through from the UK and the USA. So those leisure facilities haven't been opened up yet.
But can I say something, Pamela? I thought we needed this to stop. Because, I mean, we've learned so much from each other. I mean, I think we was thinking of having another child. I think part of the new family. You know, it's been
oh gosh.
It's and it's given us time to get the
we know that you know, London Elite, that's your business, and every year festival you're down there. This has been over 20 years. Give me the figures. 20, how many years?
Well,
25 years plus. We actually started the whole events promotions since our wedding in '91, where we went out to Florida. We did 3 trips to Antigua the following year and to Dubai. So we have done group trips, you know, over the Caribbean. So in total, it would be 29 years this year, but 26 years going to St. Lucia.
25-year anniversary.
Going to St.
We've
Lucia.
been St. Lucia, London Elite St. Lucia, 25 years. We're actually,
and this 2020,
sorry.
2020, it has stopped. So how
years?
You, because this year it couldn't go on. So
it couldn't go on, and it was devastating. But I think because the important thing is the Prime Minister there, Honourable Alan Chastanet, had shut the island down earlier than I think most of the islands had shut down. He did quite an unprecedented thing, we think, quite quickly. But that showed you that the numbers in St. Lucia hadn't even, I think, reached 20 to those who had contracted.
There was 17. I've just spoken to the High Commissioner UK just yesterday, and there's no new cases. There's never have been. And the 2 cases that were of actually British orientation. 17 max, and that was it. So they've done a brilliant job.
Brilliant. Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. So I think I think it's just the travellers, those who are used to going. That was their yearly holiday, and the groups together. And we know the islands need it. We know that they need it with the tourism and the hotels. So, and I think for people, they had been putting together their outfits and, you know, just knowing that they were going to meet the, you know, the locals and party with them and then just enjoy what the island has to offer. It's missing. But of course, safety comes first. Paramount.
And it's funny because like here in Barbados, all the cruise ships, they've been parked up here, about 20 of them, all around the island. It's just an amazing sight to see. We don't know when they're going to get back to business because, I mean, you know, some of the ships are out there like 4,000 people capacity. And they're all out there on the water. At night, you see them, the lights are up, and, you know, it's like, and nobody can go and can look out, and the police come around to make sure, because it's $50,000 fine if you're caught outside in the street. $50,000.
If you go against any of the curfews, I know they're just warning people at the moment, and they are doing checks, but they are taking it very, very seriously. I feel that the island has to be sure that they have enough of the medical supplies and the equipment. They're just really trying to take care of their people, and I think any measure that they can do is important, because if you compare us, again, I keep saying the UK and the US. The medical facilities and the things that you find that they have failed or not been able to really help the situation. I think the islands are, in fear that we would do the same. So they will have to put in as much measures as they can to protect the public. And I think that's important. So we have to abide to it the best that we can.
The one good thing though, Pamela, the one good thing is, I had the #1 record called Friends I released last year. Me and Don. It's now become the #1 lockdown song.
Indeed. I've heard it going on. Yes.
And that's really nice to know everybody's playing the song and they love it.
Yeah.
It's doing really well again. It's gone back to #1.
It would do indeed, because everyone's locked in and we want to hear entertainment. We want to hear good music.
Yeah, and yes. It's nice to see all the different DJs playing their stuff on the different on the channels, and they've got all their online sites working and playing Fifth Avenue and all the DJs playing, and it's great. But they shouldn't have shut the churches. I mean, they should have had a way where we could go to church.
Yeah, it's only that the fact that when you think about a mass service, you've got how many hundreds that in one service. So how to do your 2 meter distance, then you have to streamline it. So how many services are you going to have a day? Well, they realized it couldn't work. So we have our streamline. We go to mass, remotely. We just do it now. And you're everyone. Just very quickly, because we do have to round this up. I want to talk about your hotel business, because we're talking about the Heights, Collins Heights, and I was hoping that the viewers could see this gorgeous place.
Is that so much of it? We can't see much. We could see a little bit.
Oh, gorgeous!
There you go. Yes. Then we put the link. They put the link so that we can get it online.
On your hotel business.
The impact has been very devastating, because, as I said, tourism is the big thing on the island, where people are employed and the income is in. We've had to really repurpose us to staycation local visitors, and hoping that the islands now will be able to also be able to come over and enjoy. But the impact is severe. So that's what we've had to work on, is just repositioning, repurposing our promotion to get local staycation on the island to come and enjoy.
And that's one thing we've always done.
Yes.
We've always provided. Staycation is where people come stay in the country and holiday at the various different lovely hotels that are here, and we're one of the ones that we provide the service.
Yes,
The way to improvise this is what you do, because people have had to readdress themselves and redesign their their business they've got. So that's brilliant. We need to roll. So I need to get you guys to give us all your social media contacts. Rock with the North.
Yes. Excellent. So we've got Mullins Heights Barbados on Facebook and Instagram, and then we also have the Rick Clark Facebook and Instagram, and you'll be able to get all the details on there. And we've got the London Elite also on Instagram and Facebook. So if you can DM us a DM and contact us via that, we'll be able to give you great rates.
If there's anything you need.
It's been a pleasure. I was going to get you to sing us out. Oh, happy Jen, I've got to rush this now, but you can quickly sing. Just sing us out quickly as we go. Bye. I'll see you along the way. That should have been your cue.
Oh, I'll see you along the way.
Bye.
Oh, baby. And especially listen, just Pam, thank you. And also my love to all the families, the ones who've lost somebody close. We've lost a very close friend, Rudolph Farrer, which is very sad for us. And there's so many people out there that have lost people.
Yes.
That we pray for them and pray that they can get through it, and pray we all get through this moment in time.
Yes.
And that gets back to normal, because this separating people, it's not good. We need numbers.
We need numbers.
We need people to come back together. We need to get back out and
Thank you so much for having us.
And that view. Thanks ever so much. Take care.
God bless you. We love you. We love you. Bye.
Bye. I love it. He calls me Pamela. He sounds like my dad. Pam. That's all good. Okay, next up, I believe we have the entrepreneur, Julian Hall. Are you with me? Hello, Julian. How are you? Hello, you're on. How are you, Julian? How are you, Julian?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. I think I caught you on the up there, didn't I? Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no, I was on mute, so
Okay, okay. First of all, I love that title, The Ultra, not Ultra, Ultrapreneur. I want to whack with that, first of all. What does that mean? I love it.
Yeah, good question actually. So and the U is for ultra on my t-shirt. So the Ultrapreneur came about because I felt that entrepreneurship was out of date and that it wasn't working as well as it should have been working. And actually, I wanted to go beyond just being an entrepreneur and being the best that I could be in all areas of my life, because the word ultra means to go beyond. Yeah. So an entrepreneur goes beyond just thinking about money, but thinks about relationships with family and friends, thinks about their physical and mental health, and make sure that they're doing what they love.
Excellent, excellent. So tell us a bit about the whole of your enterprise here. Now it's a 4-year-old social enterprise, and it's called Ultra Education. Yes. Successfully teaching entrepreneurship to primary and secondary schools. I love that because you're talking about the young. So let's have a feel a bit more about that. Talk to us.
Sure. So we, as you said, teach entrepreneurship to kids in schools. We do one-to-one tuition. We had 2 of our facilitators just come off a Zoom weekend boot camp with about 15 kids. And
we lost you, Julie. Are you there?
Use entrepreneurship as a way to develop employability. I'm here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we use entrepreneurship as a vehicle to develop employability and life skills in children from a young age. So we start from 7 years old, because we think that entrepreneurial skills are the types of skills that employers want, the types of skills that parents want. And we found ways to make it fun by introducing the idea that entrepreneurship is something, or an entrepreneur is someone who does what they love and they make money from it. Yeah. So when we work with kids, we just ask them, what do you love doing? What are your hobbies? What makes you smile? And then we can show them how they can turn that into a business.
Yeah, brilliant. You've also co-written 3 degrees in entrepreneurship, and it's launched the UK's first mobile game for kids. So the kids are enjoying it because they think it's a game, but they're learning. So that's brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you ask anyone who is into education, so if you ask an educational psychologist, they'll tell you that whether it's kids or adults, we learn best when we're having fun.
Yes.
But I think you'll agree, for most kids, learning isn't that fun, especially when they're going to school. Learning isn't that fun. So when we started Ultra, we wanted entrepreneurial education to be fun, because then kids will be more engaged, they'll get more done, and we'll have more success stories, and we'll be able to accelerate their learning far more quickly if they are really enjoying the process. So and actually all we're doing is reflecting what happens with grown-up entrepreneurs. I mean, entrepreneurs are the types of people who are envied because they're really enjoying what they're doing. They spring out of bed on a Monday morning, they work long hours, and it's because they're really passionate about the work that they do. So they don't necessarily see it as work. So we wanted to reverse engineer that for kids.
Excellent. I think that's absolutely brilliant. You have recently been elected Freeman of the Guild of Entrepreneurs and Fellow of the Royal Society of Arts, don't you know? This is brilliant. You've also launched the world's first artificial intelligence chat box that can teach entrepreneurship to kids and teens, called #ArcsUltra. This ingenuity of yours, talk to me a bit more about that, Julie. Were you sort of like a real, geek when you were younger? Were you computerized very early? Talk to me about your background.
It was actually, yeah. So I mean, I used to program games when I was 7 or 8 years old. When my parents bought me a computer, they didn't know what they were doing, so they just shoved it in front of me, and I just started typing things away. But I never became like a super geek, but I used technology as an enabler. I was really comfortable with tech, so I used tech to help me in work, to help me in business, to help me to make money, to help me to, you know, to do things that would enable me to learn and experience the world in a more meaningful way. So that has powered myself as an entrepreneur. Technology has been the thing that has powered me. And I've wanted to take that capability to the next generation. So in order to reach more kids with our entrepreneurial curriculum, because doing it face to face, we can do maybe 15 or 20 kids at a time, but with an app, we can do it across 142 countries, and we can do potentially millions of kids at a time.
Of course. And it's not just about the kids, because you're also helping the teachers and parents.
Yes, we are indeed. So I did a workshop about this recently, and it was around, if you are delivering some benefit to a customer or to someone you're trying to help, who influences them? So when we started working in schools to deliver entrepreneurial education to students, we realized that if we walk out of the room and the teachers aren't on board, or the teachers aren't reinforcing what we've said, then it's been a lost effort. So we started to run kind of inset days and CPD days with teachers, and most recently at a school in South London, we did a session with over 100 teachers on how they could introduce the theme of entrepreneurship into their curriculum, because then it means that there's opportunities for entrepreneurship in everything, whether it's in languages, whether it's in science, whether it's in maths. And so we help them to see how they can introduce entrepreneurial thinking and entrepreneurial skills into their topic, so that their topic becomes more practical and more actionable, and therefore the student understands why they're learning this and what they can do to take it into the real world, and therefore they're more engaged with the topic.
Indeed. Julian, these times, so look what we're doing. I'm interviewing you, you're in your home, I'm in my home, and in these times, so we've all had this lockdown, we've all been isolated, we've all been at home longer, and knowing that we now have to do it like this, whatever we do, whether it's work, office work, whatever, this is great. So this is a time also to engage on more children even, don't you think so, and parents?
Absolutely. And one of the things that we realized really quite quickly was that both parents and teachers were struggling to keep their kids engaged, because everything was very different. You can't expect parents to deliver the national curriculum. You can't expect teachers to be as engaging over, Google Hangouts or Zoom as they would be if they were there in the room with those students. So we've stepped in, and we've helped parents to deliver something which has got an educational value but isn't strictly academic, but still has academic value, and that's been a huge lifesaver for parents. Even just sharing with parents how we deliver an engaging class is also really important, but also with schools. So schools necessarily don't have the capacity to be able to work with so many kids and to keep them engaged and to keep them motivated. So we've helped schools to do some of that work as well.
Yeah, I just want to do, I'm not going to try and boost your head, but I do need to let the viewers know this. You're the winner of the London Prestige Awards, winner of the National Mentee of the Year, winner of the Pride of Brent SME of the Year, winner of the B Moguls Award, finalist National Business Awards, outstanding contribution to children, potential unlocked, business of entrepreneurship, sisters empowerment. Phew. Your head hasn't gone big, because that is just standard. I mean, this is so.
Well, I'll be honest with you, the reason why my head doesn't go big is because it's funny. I said this to one of my mentees about 6 months ago. I said, for everything you see me win, I've lost 10 times. So it's not, so there's a balance, right? And what you've done there is you've given people the highlight reel, which is amazing. The highlight reel looks good, but behind the highlight reel, I mean, we get no's, we get disappointments, we experience failure all the time. So that keeps us grounded. But because we are passionate about what we do, then we keep moving forward. But I am very grateful for all of the organizations that recognize our work, all of the people that support us and celebrate us. I mean, we need encouragement too, because it is difficult. And so it means a lot.
Yeah, it's a mark of achievement, and well done, and it was, I think, just deserved for yourself for all your work and effort. We have to round up now, Julian, so I need you to get out to our viewers all your social media contacts.
Sure. So if you go onto Google and type in Ultra Education or the Ultrapreneur, or if you go onto Instagram and just put in @ultraeducation or @theultrapreneur, then you'll find us. Say hello, and we'll definitely say hello back.
Excellent. Julian Hall, it's been a pleasure. You take care of yourself, and no doubt we'll catch you again later on.
I'm sure we will.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Anthony, control the situation. Tinny is there, and I think we're going to have her up next. All right. Here she is. Hiya. At the long last. How are you? You've been patiently waiting. I mean, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. You know how it goes. You know, things, this is live and, you know, anything can happen. But it's wonderful show, Tinny Edwards. For the benefit of our viewers, I called you a poet. I said you're an author. Talk to me. You love poetry, but give me history. How did it all come about, Tinny?
My writing journey began when I found myself in a really quite dark place in my life. I was feeling really lost in my career path because I studied law, was working as a legal assistant for quite a while, but I just felt like I couldn't be myself. Like the way that I was starting to talk, the way that I was talking started to change because I tried to fit into the corporate culture. So I was changing the way I was speaking. I was changing the way I was styling my hair. And I just felt like I couldn't be myself. And I just wasn't enjoying it. So I felt really lost in my career path and felt like I was the only one out of all my friends who had no idea what it is that I wanted to do. And at the same time, I was going through heartbreak as well. So I was feeling really insecure about myself. And I just felt like my whole life was just not going according to plan and falling apart. And I don't know what led me to picking up the pen and the journal, but that's what I did. And I literally vented my pain out on paper. And that was the beginning of my writing journey.
Yeah. You described it to me as if, you know, the notepad was your therapist. Yeah, that's an amazing description. So all your thoughts and you was writing it all down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I had no idea what impact that would have on me. But when I did write it down, I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt like such a release.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Did it feel as if, you know, this sort of heavy burden was starting to slowly lift off your shoulders because you actually taken it out on, you know, the pen with the power of the pen and writing it down, and it was sort of like all coming in through on that?
Definitely.
Is that a good description of it?
Yes, it definitely is. I mean, I felt like throughout my life, I had always silenced my voice. I was never really the person to speak about things that had happened to me or speak about challenges that I was going through. Like I was always the silent one. So I think that as well, that was the reason as well why it felt like such freedom to open up and to be really honest with myself in my journal. It was literally an eye-opener for me.
Yeah. You've also yourself been described as a self-love advocate.
Yeah.
You said about heartbreak. So I'm kind of thinking, is that part and parcel? Can you give us a bit more?
Yeah, sure. The reason why I describe myself as a self-love advocate is because of the self-love challenges that I went through. And I like to share the things that helped me to overcome the different challenges and the different practices that I did to help me build a stronger relationship with myself. I like to share that on my social media accounts to try and help other people overcome their challenges that in terms of the relationship that they have with themselves. And the heartbreak just really just made me feel insecure about the way that I looked. And I really felt like I wasn't good enough. And I wrote to empower myself and to affirm my self-worth and to tell myself that I am good enough and that I am worthy of love. And that's what I like to put across on my social media so that other people can feel that too within themselves.
Exactly. I was just going to come on to that other people can, and particularly the younger folk.
Yeah.
sometimes they find it very challenging. And in this climate that we have now, it is extremely challenging to keep, sort of like the mental well-being intact and to, try and persevere that. So maybe what you're giving them is, well, hold on, why don't you get a diary out? Why don't you start writing? Would you say that is a good thing to do?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I put a poll out on my Instagram stories a couple of days ago to ask, is self-love something that you're struggling with? And 80% of people voted yes. And for me, it just made me feel really, really sad that a lot of us are struggling to love ourselves. And so that's why I write what I write, and that's why I continue to share and also try to discuss different challenging topics and vulnerable topics with other people, so that we can really try and help change that narrative. And especially during this time, I mean, I definitely have gone through mental challenges during this time of just wanting to go out and socialize, because it's just really difficult to be locked up, for me anyway. So that's why my friend and I launched a new initiative, which is called the Seed Project. And it's a project to encourage the practice of healthy habits through COVID-19 and post-COVID-19. And so we would like to create a platform where we can encourage people to get involved in self-care activities and exercises and discussions with experts and professionals in their fields, such as financial educators, psychotherapists, body confidence coaches, and people like that, so that we as millennials can get help and access those people without having to wait in long waiting lists to see a psychotherapist, or having to pay extortionate amounts to see those people individually.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this list of celebrity names, and I'm just like, bowled over. It's Instagram feeds of celebrities like Wesley Snipes, Khloe Kardashian, Dasha Polanco, and Candy Burris. I mean, that's to name a few, but I mean, wow. How do you feel? How do you feel when, seeing that?
I mean, like, I never, ever could have imagined that my words would have ended up in people that I have grown up watching on TV. So it was definitely heartwarming to see that, they've been able to resonate with some of the things that I've written. And it just comes to show, regardless of how much, I think people feel like if someone is of celebrity status and has a lot of money, they don't really have as much issues as us. And it just goes to show that, we all go through the same emotions, doesn't it, and feelings, regardless of our status.
Excellent. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So this initiative, you just said it just recently launched.
Yes.
And so far, how's that been going?
It's actually been going very well. We're on 98 supporters. Our target is 4,000, and we've raised 3,392 so far. So I think it's going really well. We've had a lot of supporters, and the comments have been so heartwarming. A lot of people believe in it and feel like it's so necessary, especially in this time. And yeah, we're just going to keep going on with it. And we would be grateful for any support in terms of sharing it or donating if you can. No contribution is too small.
Let's get that going on now, Tinny, then. So let it out. How can they do this?
So if you follow me on Instagram at Tanae Edwards and click on the link in my bio, you will see the link to our project, to our crowdfunding project. And if you click on there, you can read more about it. We've put a video up. You can watch the video and help support there. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much, Tinny. You are an inspiration. And good luck. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. Take care. We'll see you later on in the year.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, Tinny. Bye. Okay, wonderful. Oh, lovely lady. Very inspirational. What a moving story, and positiveness as we ended there. Positiveness all the time. I know we've got my guru, my gospel guru, who's been waiting in the wings patiently, and she's a very patient person. Annette B. Can we have you, please?
Hi. Hey.
Lovely to see you. I mean, it's been what, a year and a half?
I know, and I can't even give you a hug.
But we can do this.
I love it.
Oh gosh, how have you been coping through everything?
It's been difficult. I'm not going to lie. It's been difficult. I've lost so many loved ones during this season. 2 family members and 15 friends, people that I know from church, friends. Oh, it's just been horrendous. And I can't even go to any of the funerals. You know, that's the awesome part. On
The
top
heart wrench a bit as well, but you're not only grieving that impact of that, and then the fact that you can only select a certain amount. And
I mean, my father-in-law died just a few days ago, Greville Taylor, and we're, you know, organising his funeral, and we have to be picking who can attend. It's just crazy.
It is. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss, recent loss there, and as you say, 15 others as well. I mean, wow, it has impacted on so many of us. It really does. And it make you feel as if, you know, it's really dark times, but we sometimes need to give a lift, though. We need to see the light.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though these dark times, we need to sort of keep up there, keep on a level. We got to smile, we got to laugh, we got to keep doing it. What else?
Keep our mental health in check.
Yeah, indeed. I understand you still have been slightly busy because you recently came. Well, when I say that, are we talking March? You recently went abroad to South Africa?
Yes, I was actually in South Africa when all the news broke about, you know, closing all the airports and so forth. My children were on the phone. Mom, you're going to get a flight tomorrow. Come home tomorrow. And I was with my aunt in South Africa. She lives in America. And I was supposed to have been coming back from South Africa the Saturday, the 21st, and flying out to the US on the Wednesday to bury my other aunts. And when we was in South Africa, my auntie said, Annette, you can't come to the funeral in the US. They're closing down all the airports. I thought, oh my God. So it's just been horrendous, a nightmare. But in God we trust. In God
we trust. I mean, in God we trust, because you came back safely.
Yes, just about. I mean, one of my friends, because we went for the women's conference that we do, I Am Her, book launch, my album launch, and the women's conference.
Wow.
And it's me and my other organizer. She's still in South Africa now, stranded. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So I just missed it by literally a few days, literally, because
you were meant to be here. You were meant to be here. You were meant to be here. I understand you do have a musical video for to pleasure our viewers.
Yes, I do. You know, we're still spreading the word of God. We have to spread hope and joy. And this artist that I know, Dennis McLean, he's been singing for a number of years. He's got an awesome, awesome voice, and he's released a new video for the remix of his song. So we've got that lined up for you, but he's so amazing. He's so humble, and we have to spread the word of God during this difficult time so that people can find some peace, some joy in the midst of everything.
Yo, you don't know it's Dennis McLean, yeah, and Shalom Catalyst, yeah, alongside Saint and Joe, the spiritual Rambo, don't know. Father God, the mama bonafide, make them know. Man, feel at home in this world anymore. Every time I feel the Spirit, hallelujah, moving in my heart, I pray. Every time I feel the Spirit, sweet Holy Spirit, moving in my heart, I pray. Brothers, listen. We can't do nothing without you. Never try do nothing at all. Hey, we coulda never try do nothing without you. Even when we back against the wall, Lord. That's why me have to pray every night and every day. Me no want to go astray. You're the part of me and the clear. With the enemy, me not go play. Follow him out to the round here. Demon me a slave for me. Every time I feel the Spirit, a fire moving in my heart, I pray. Hey, devil, move from there. Every time I feel the Spirit, hallelujah, moving in my heart, I pray. He that dwell in the secret place shall not fear no evil. He dwell in the shadow of the Almighty, daily and nightly. Never will we bow to sin. The enemy shall never. And we will always serve the King. Me say me can't do nothing without you. Can't do nothing. Can't move a muscle without you. Me woulda last, woulda struggle without you. Me soul would be in a trouble without you. That's why me have to pray every night and every day. Me no have to go astray. You're the part of me I declare. With the enemy, me not go play. Follow him out to the round here. Demon me a slave for me keep them up here. Oh Lord, you know that I have no friend like you. And if heaven is not my home, then Lord, where would I go? The angels they beckon me from heaven's open door, and I cannot feel at home in this world anymore. Every time I feel the Spirit, hallelujah, moving in my heart, sweet Holy Ghost, I pray. Tell them sing out. Every time I feel the Spirit, when me do, moving in my heart, I pray. We have to pray. We can't do nothing without you. Never try do nothing at all. Hey, we coulda never try do nothing without you. Even when we back against the wall.
Excellent. Who's that again, Dennis McLean?
Yes, featuring St Andrew and Salam.
Right, the McLean, is he related to the McLean family, the singer?
Yes, he is. He is.
Who's he related to?
John. Yeah, it's his nephew.
That's his nephew.
Yeah.
Wow, keep it in the family, eh?
Yeah.
It's very talented indeed.
I'm telling you.
Right.
And it's actually out now. He's done a remix of the song, and it's amazing.
Okay.
The next guest, it's not a music video, it's Sai, amazing award-winning gospel artist, and she had the COVID-19, so she's actually recovered. So we've just got a few minutes of her telling us her actual experience in the hospital dealing with the COVID-19 virus. And then she came out Easter, Good Friday, and then her dad went in on the Saturday and died on the Tuesday, Brother Hamilton, and to hear her story is just amazing. So that's Sai recovering from.
We might be able to play all of it because we're running out of time, but let's hear
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Annette B, this is your friend, Sister Sai speaking, your childhood friend. Bless the Lord. I just want to say thank you very much for inviting me to come and introduce the song He did it. I'm just going to tell you a little bit of testimony. I'm just going to try and keep it very short and sweet. Bless the Lord. It was in this very room that the paramedics came in, and my coffin and blood was in the tissue, and 2 and 2 eyes make 4, 4 and 4 eyes make 8. And they whisked me off to the hospital. And at the hospital, because I had the fibromyalgia, they were hitting me and they were pulling me. They were joking me with needles here and there, even through my knuckles, my hands. And you can still see here, there's just a bit of a scar here where they was pushing the needle up in here, right? The one to put cannula in here. Oh my gosh, I was jumping and screaming all over the place. Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus. I had to go to myself. I said to the Lord, Lord, I can't take no more. I couldn't take no more. And I just heard him say, come on up. I just heard him say, come on up. And I just went up. I didn't levitate or go out of my body or anything. It just went into a different space. It's the best way I can describe it. And I remember looking down at my arm as they were pam, 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 pam on my arm and pushing the needle in and picking it out and pushing it in. And I didn't feel a thing. I didn't feel a thing. I thank God. I thank God. I had to stay in that area for the night. And the next day they put me on a different place. I don't even know if it was a ward because I was a bag of confusion. I didn't know what was going on. And this horrible doctor came in and he says, we have made a clinical decision. We are not going to intubate you. We're not going to resuscitate you. We're not going to give you CPR. We're not putting you on life support. If you start to pass away, you just pass. And I said, right, okay, because I didn't know what he was talking about. My daughter phoned from America and she asked me what was going on. And I told her, she said, Mum, she said, do you know what he's saying? They're saying that they're going to let you die. And I said, you're joking. And she says, yes, Mum, you've got to make them see that you're a human being. And so the next day, the man come down with great rage upon me. Great rage, saying, you are 57 years old, right? You have fibromyalgia, you got high blood pressure, you got diabetes. Why is your daughter phoning from America? Well, I thought we had an understanding. And shouting at me, shouting loud at me and gripping the end of my bed. I says, listen, doctor, I said, I'm sorry. I heard your words yesterday, but I didn't understand it. I didn't understand. It's my daughter that's explained it. So I'm telling you that I'm going to write a letter and I want you to put it into my files because I've got 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and a daddy to get home to. And I've got an album to go and finish. I can't die in here. He says, we are not going to change our decision. I said, well, that's your business. But I'm writing my letter. And he stormed off. And I thought, there's me. I'm coughing up the blood, and I've got the oxygen here. I'm coughing up the blood, got the oxygen here, and the man had no compassion. What? I've since found out that the cut-off age is 50. If you walk in there 50 years old and you've got any kind of underlying issues, they're writing you off. They saw my 94-year-old dad and they writ him off. 3 days, he was dead. But listen, I gotta hurry because I'm gonna have to cut this now. I'm introducing this song called He Did It. Jesus went to the cross for all of us. He died for every single person that's been here and coming. And his blood is so efficacious to wash away all of our sins. We don't have to hackle up ourselves now and to try to do the work that Jesus has already done. Yes, we can just now walk in freedom of life. If we fall, and you're going to fall, if we fall, we get up, we repent, and we move on in Christ. We don't get ourselves, we're going to backslide and run away like Adam tried to hide himself. No, the work was done, and he did it just for you and for me. And I hope you understand that.
I think we're going to have to see more of that the next time, Annette, that you're on. We're going to have to see that musical side of it. We've completely run out of time. Annette, at this point, can you just give our viewers all your contact details?
Yes, if you've got a story to tell, contact me. You can email me at Annette_B, that's ANNETTE_BEE@ymail.com, or you can hook me up on Instagram, Annette B Official, or on Messenger, simply Annette B by Facebook.
Thank you, Annette.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right now, this is where it gets slightly serious now as well, because this is an issue that has just sort of raising its ugly head on our shores in the UK. I'd like to introduce to you Patrick Vernon OBE, social commentator, campaigner, and cultural historian. Patrick, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Good afternoon to you, Patrick. How are you? Long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time, Pam. It's been ages. It's been, I mean, we go back quite a while, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
You can start revealing our ages.
You can reveal your age. I'm still 21. Anyway.
Lovely. It's lovely to see you, Patrick.
Yeah, likewise.
My gosh, where should we start? Let's go wham straight into it. Just come out today a letter of campaign for an independent inquiry on COVID-19 and the BAME communities, Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities in the UK. We need to make this huge and big. We are being told by the Office of National Statistics that we, Black males and females, are 4 times more likely to die of this terrible disease than our white counterparts. Before we go into the letter, the campaign, Patrick, what are your views about that in itself?
Well, I mean, I've got a personal story because my sister's partner died of COVID-19 about a month ago. So it's really just on a Zoom call now with the family because we can't see them. They live in Derby, and I'm in London, and my parents are in Wolverhampton. So we just communicated by Zoom, and it's just been really, really difficult for the whole family. So I mean, there's lots of families up and down the country grieving because of losing a loved one. And in many ways, that's probably why I'm part of the campaign team to find out from the government that we need a transparent, independent process around independent inquiry.
We're told, Patrick, sorry to put in there, but first of all, to go on to this issue, why is it that there's 4%? Now, we've been told that there's various aspects, socioeconomics, our health, i.e., diabetes, sickle cell, hypertension, high blood pressure, the list may go on. Is that really it? Is that a cluster? Is that amount that you put in there that we have seen that? Yes, we know this within our community. But let's talk a bit more about that.
I'm not going to say what the answer is because we need to have independent inquiry. Obviously, lots of people have jumped in talking about lack of vitamin D and a whole range of different theories and issues around that certain staff have been deliberately being put in COVID wards without necessary PPE. That's why we need to have an independent inquiry to explore the health dimension, the scientific public health dimension around lifestyle and all that kind of stuff, but also looking at some of the wider issues which may have an impact on structural racism, particularly how BME staff are treated in the NHS and in wider society. And the only way we can do that is have a proper process. Otherwise, we'll spend a lot of time speculating and we may not find the right answers.
Yeah, the transparent process, as you say, indeed, and wanting to restore public confidence. Are we saying that really the communities are not confident about, just being told that this is what it is and it's 4%, and then Asian, they've split up the Asian. They've said Bangladeshi and Pakistani 3 point. They've said Indians 1 point. Can I just, actually, to that point, let me ask you this question. If the Office of National Statistics can dissect under the word Asian, if they can dissect it to Bangladeshi and Pakistani against Indians, could I ask you a question? Why wasn't the word Black dissected with African and Caribbean?
Because it's the way that we do our ethnic recording of stuff, and that's what been one of the major problems through this whole coronavirus process about the ethnic recording. I mean, since 1991, the NHS has meant to have done proper ethnic recording. And also, if you look at the census, if you look at Black, it's often subcategorized as Black Caribbean and Black British. And so often they still use census data based on nationality. Now, we've been here about 4 generations, so it's not based on we're British, but obviously we have different aspects around Africa, the Caribbean, and people of mixed race. So that's why it's more difficult and it's not that comprehensive. Also, and also finally, when someone dies, ethnicity is not recorded on the death certificate. So basically, they have to use a whole range of proxy data information, and obviously what hospitals have been doing and care homes. If someone is diagnosed with COVID-19, that's when they start to record people's ethnicity. So we need to look at in more detail, and that's why again we need to have an independent inquiry to look at one aspect of this issue around ethnicity recording and coding.
Yeah. You've got some big names here backing it up. We were talking about the author of Noughts and Crosses, Mallory Blackman, OBE, Baroness Doreen Lawrence, obviously yourself. But there's also, the list is endless. I'm just going to say Shaun Escoffery, Matt Henry, MBE.
Yes.
It's endless. So with this, how are you hoping to really impact the government on this?
So what we've done, obviously, this campaign is on different levels. Obviously, we've approached high-profile people of colour in Britain to say that we are individuals concerned about the impact of COVID-19 on minority ethnic communities. And we use a strapline, minority communities, but majority deaths, because we are dying. And not only are we dying, we also have an impact of COVID-19, and also some of the policies that the government has instituted around social distancing is not working for the community. And on top of that, you've got clear evidence of heavy-handedness by the police around the country, and that's why we need a public inquiry. But more importantly, we want people to sign the letter. The letter's online, and there's a whole network, there's a whole group of individuals, but I'm working particularly with an organisation called Ubele, which does a lot of work in the Black community around capacity building. And on their website, you can actually see the letter, and you can actually add your name to the letter as well. And we want to put more pressure on the government to really take this seriously. It's quite clear and it's quite apparent if you compare Britain to other countries around the world that we have handled this really badly. 33,000 deaths officially, maybe more.
Yeah.
And apart from America, we are probably one of the worst countries in the world to manage this pandemic.
Yeah, indeed. When you're going to give me all those details later for all these web details and where people can go in and sign on. But I just want to go into that a moment as you just say that they have been too many reports, and it's worldwide news as well, that the government has been slammed for not dealing with this crisis from the get-go. We know that they're telling us, and the government knew this at the back end of December 2019 to the beginning of January 2020, government was informed about this particular coronavirus. And it was dealt with very slowly, in fact, on a low rate. In fact, they didn't put the alert on high at all. We can hear all that all day long about what happened, but we still want to deal with it right now. What can the government do right now to change and to get this plateau to stop this new contract cases going on? Because I'm going to say this, only just recently they have started to test passengers coming in to the UK, which they hadn't been doing before. This is all part and parcel of the inadequacies.
And that's the one. So in terms of the short term, obviously, the government has to do a lot of stuff. I know a lot of people working in the NHS, they're not getting the right type of PPE. They need to start this process of community testing and contract taste, which is important. Otherwise, what's the point of having a social distancing policy locked in your doors all day long, and there's no backup to follow that? It's just going to make things worse, to be quite honest. And also, on top of that, there is a lot of support. A lot of community groups are trying to help people who are vulnerable, our elders from the women's generation. And that's one of the key things, as I was heavily involved in the Windrush campaign around the scandal. a lot of the Windrush generation are dropping off, are dying like flies connected with COVID-19. I grew up in Wolverhampton. There are 4 black church pastors who have died in Wolverhampton in the last month and a half. And if you go around the whole country, you will find a lot of the Windrush generation are dying because of the impact of COVID-19. So that's another issue in itself. So something needs to be done to help the community. And then obviously when we start the whole process of the lockdown, it's making sure that the right support, resources, and right community messaging. When you see these messages, stay at home, it's not culturally relevant. It's not broken down the way so people can understand that, basically. But ultimately, we must lead to definitely to a public inquiry. One of the things I've been involved in, again, working with Ubele, we've launched a fund called the Majonzi Fund. Majonzi is a Swahili word, means grief or deep sorrow. As I mentioned before, I've lost a family member with COVID-19. And because of the social distancing lockdown policy, people are not allowed to do the normal grieving. You can't do your 9 nights, even though people have done it online. The way around the whole act of passage to say goodbye to a loved one has been short-circuited because of COVID-19. But after lockdown, there'll be lots of families, including my family and work colleagues, who want to then commemorate the lives of lost ones. So the Majonzi Fund, we've raised about £7,000. It's on GoFundMe, and we want to give out grants to families, community groups, to organise events, ways of saying thank you, acknowledgement. But also, there's another key issue, is around bereavement. If you are from a minority ethnic community and you've lost a loved one and you want bereavement counselling, there are no services that meet the needs of our needs, our faith needs and cultural needs. The mainstream bereavement charities don't have staff that reflect us. They don't understand our culture, our identity. So we're working with a range of BME therapists and counsellors to create a consortium so we can provide free bereavement counselling for anyone affected by COVID-19. So we're raising money for that as well. So it'd be really great to have the support of your station to help raise the fundraising campaign and efforts. And of course, the government has got money available, but also it's about what we can do. We can have an act of giving ourselves, not to be dependent on government, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. At this point, Patrick, you've given us a lot, so I need you to start listing off all these email addresses, website addresses, and everything else. So do that, sir. Okay,
right. So the Majonzi Fund, that's on the GoFundMe webpage. So you can either do a Google search, Majonzi, spelled Majonzi, Majonzi Fund. So you can just do a Google search. That will take you to the GoFundMe webpage, and please make a donation, share the link. If you want to have details of the petition that you would like to sign, you can go onto the Ubele website. Ubele spelled U-B-E-L-E, and the website address I can just give you. I should know it by heart because I've been working with them very closely.
You've got so much to take in, that's what it is, you see.
So it's so ubele.org. So it's www.ubele.org. You go onto the website and then you click onto a section about we want answers. All the people, all those celebrities, all those personalities in that letter that you've just mentioned, you can add your name to that letter, including yourself, Pam. And
I will.
And the more the merrier as well. Yeah. The letter has officially gone to number 10 already, but we still want to build enough names on the letter to demonstrate to the government that we want answers, we want the truth, and we don't want to be almost like an internal inquiry where the truth is doctored, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really loving what you're doing here, Patrick. I really am. We want to go to that point when we saw you there in the Houses of Parliament, Windrush, the scandal, and you were there quite eloquently, putting your case across, and the petition was huge, signatures huge, and this is what we want. Again, we want to see you there, albeit 2 meter distance. But anyway, we want to see you in there impacting on this. And I don't know whether or not Baroness Doreen Lawrence, is she sort of like really sort of heading this government running sort of inquiry?
No. So Baroness Lawrence is doing a review for the Labour Party. So about 2 weeks ago, Keir Starmer, leader of the Labour Party, announced that Labour Party will be doing a review on the impact of COVID on BME communities. He appointed Doreen Lawrence as the race advisor and to lead on the Labour's response, I should say. And Doreen Lawrence actually is supporting this campaign for independent inquiry also, which I think is important.
Very, very important. Patrick, what can I say? Thank you ever so much. I want people to get your website, though. You've given us the others.
If you want to get hold of me, www.patrickvernon.org.uk.
Excellent. Patrick, we will be asking you to come back onto the show from time to time. And I know that you're so amenable with us, and I know you will do that. But we want to have your impact and giving us up-to-date issues of what's going on, particularly in the demand of this inquiry. Will you do that?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you ever so much, Patrick. And I'm sorry for, the sad news of recent deaths and what have you. Thank you ever so much for taking the time out to talk to us. Do take care of yourself.
Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to keep in tune with that. We're going to find out, exactly what's happening there and how far we can go with that one, because this is absolutely needed. We definitely need to have an inquiry. We definitely need to open up some sort of platform. What is it? What's going on? What can be done? So, okay. Patrick Vernon there, OBE. Right. We are going to talk about, not just because it's musical, but we have to talk about the fact that there's a serious side to this, that after 50 years, always, never, no stoppages, nothing at all. Come rain, come shine, whatever. The Notting Hill Carnival. Yeah, Europe's biggest street festival. Obviously, going with the flow situation as it is, first time 50, it has to stop. It can't go on for 2020. So I'm hoping that we do have, maybe we'll talk to him later, because I've just been told he hasn't quite got on yet. So we're going to be talking to Ansel Wong, hopefully a bit later on. And I think at this point, I'd like to get my fellow conspirator. I don't know why I call him fellow conspirator, Where's the Dark Persuader? Let's get you back on. Anthony Jordan. I don't know why I keep saying, I keep calling you this kind of conspirator, and I shouldn't really say that, but, because you are the Dark Persuader.
I'm trying to keep it clean here.
I was going to say we should Batman and Robin sort of thing. I don't know.
That's the one. Dynamic duo. I'm done with that.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to swing to you. We're going to deal with the entertainment corner. Just before we do, though, can I just quickly say, you just heard Patrick Vernon there. You just heard about this new campaign and pushing for an inquiry. My gosh, that's what we needed, eh? We do. Do you know what? What I really want to say before we go into entertainment corner is, what a lifestyle! What a lifestyle back! I mean, it's been really interesting as a spectator. I've really enjoyed it. Some really powerful guests there, some really powerful messages from each and every guest, and just guys, support every cause that's been mentioned out there. It's been amazing. It really has. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Annette. Yeah. Thank you, Rick and Glenda. Tanae, Julian. Yes, thank you, Tanae Edwards. I was going to say thank you, Pam, but we can't. You got rid of me when you went to Barbados. Yeah, I'm just saying. Did you see that view? I wish I could have stayed there. My God, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. It gives a lot of hope for when lockdown is lifted. There's a lot of stuff out there, and what I like as well is hope for when lockdown's lifted, but the work that people are doing while the lockdown is on to support each other. And for that, major round of applause and thank you to all of them. Excellent. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to leave it with you and Trinity Boy Jew say, oh, hi, Trinity. I'll leave it with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. How can I do an introduction to this man? So he is a rep for the Notting Hill Carnival to a degree. He is your 2015 UK Road Monarch, Calabash Award 3 years on the road, semi-finalist for UK Soca Groovy Power Monarch in 2013. He has done it all. The one, the only, Mr. Trini Boy Juicy. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. Actually, I'm an official as of last year. I'm one of the official Carnival ambassadors, so Notting Hill Carnival ambassador. So yeah. So yeah, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. It's been a busy last 2 days with Zoom, and now I'm into this net. I like the media net though. I like the Yeah,
no,
nice,
MediaNet are powerful. I'm telling everyone now, this is my official endorsement. Look out for them. They are doing some big stuff. You know what? It's great to see you. I think the last time I saw you, we were at North London somewhere ahead of a concert. But every time I see you, you're always busy, always up to so much. So you're saying 2 days, but you haven't stopped as far as I'm concerned. I'm always seeing Trini Boy up to something, which is great.
No, yeah, I haven't stopped. So since the last time as well, I was on Lifestyle Corner. It was a couple years ago. And since then, you know, I've won more accolades. I've actually gone on to this year, having one of the biggest songs in soca, you know, where for Trinidad Carnival we had a lot of heavy airplay, played everywhere, a lot of fets, and unfortunately, due to this unwelcoming guest who forced their way in, you know, we are unable to capitalize, you know, but you know, so you go.
It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. But do you know something else I saw that you've done that I had no clue of, and I saw it recently? Juicy Unplugged. That's a big move.
Yes. So the last 3 years, well, this would have been the third year. I've been holding my own concert. Yes, I've been holding my own concert. Thanks for reminding me. You see, you know the stuff that you should be promoting. But yeah, I've been holding my my concert. So basically a platform to show people that how the arts, how carnival culture, I guess soca music could be presented other than just carnival and jumping up, whining, but in a more artistic way. So my first year I called it Juicy Unplugged because the way I presented the songs, it was backed by a live band. So as if it was in a fete, you know what I mean? In the Caribbean, it was backed by a live band. I had a good friend of mine who's an anime artist. She did live painting whilst the band was playing.
Wow.
We had like a pop-up stall for merchandise. We had other artists who people may not have known of, but very creative behind the scenes, who write, we had a wicked line of DJs, we had visual projections. So there was a lot going on, you know. So that was the first year. Last year, we focused a lot more on the music and how the music was presented, you know. So how I transitioned track by track. And last year, yeah, again, another successful. And this year would have been the icing on the cake, but it seemed like we're still building this cake. Right now, we're on the second floor. So by the time we're ready to perform again, it's big like a wedding cake, you know what I mean?
I love that, brother. I love that. Another thing that you mentioned that I'm going to touch on before we get into your current stuff. You talk about how with Juicy Unplugged, you wanted to give that element of more than just jumping up and down.
Yeah.
You've also transcended and covered different genres of music. I'm just looking here. Jazz, Courtney Pine, British Neo Soul, Omar, TOK, Silverstone. You even done Boiler Room. You were the first soca artist on Boiler Room. How did this come about? Have you been able to make soca seem as something more than just Notting Hill Carnival, which we will be touching on a bit more with you, if you don't mind?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, but as you mentioned, I always say, you know, for my first couple of years, so it's been 10 years in the game. My first couple of years was about finding who I am, you know, doing a subculture, and I say subculture as in soca is not the mainstream culture over here. It's either second generation or third generation of people who parents might have played it in their house, or their parents, you know, or grandparents might have played it. So for me, it was about how could I make soca music that is tangible to this audience here and that people could relate to. So I said one of my things was to present it and push it in areas where you wouldn't expect it to be. So like the Courtney Pine show, he actually reached out to me and was like, listen, I want you to come and do Love Supreme Festival. 50,000 people. It's a jazz festival. They would have never heard soca music in their life, even live. I want you to do your thing. Wow. So that was an opportunity. Boiler Room was a project I did with them the year before, which would have been what, 2017, I believe. And I said to them, listen, we need to get soca music on Boiler Room. And then it so happened the following year, 2018, they had Boiler Room in Somerset House, and they did like the Carnival edition. So for me, I always say, you know, it's good to do our music, but also in order for us to build on the audience or to build on the marketing and introduce new audiences, we need to push it in places where you wouldn't usually hear it. So that's kind of my mission too, you know, in pioneering the soca music as one of the pioneers for the soca music, you know.
No, big respect to you for it. It's much needed. It's done in such a beautiful way that, yeah, you're opening it to so many wide audiences, and I believe soca needs to be recognized as just something aside from just carnival. So thank you so much for that. Now, I've mentioned the word twice, Notting Hill Carnival. I see the head drop. There's nothing more I can do.
I'll take a drink for that. I'll take a drink for that, right?
Yeah. As a soca artist, and you know, you can't say carnival without saying soca. You know, as much as we are expanding soca, 50 years in the UK. Luckily, I'm guessing you were in Trinidad, so Trinidad probably one of the last ones to celebrate it. What is the impact for you as an artist? How are you feeling as a committee member to the Notting Hill Carnival? What are your thoughts? What could you say?
All right, so I'm going to speak in two different hats right now. So the first hat, I'm going to speak from Trini Boy Juicy perspective. So as Trini Boy Juicy, the artist, Notting Hill Carnival for me is not only a time to go and perform or to be on the road and jumping up, but it's about that feeling of freedom. You know, Carnival means more to me. Like, I'll be honest here, Carnival is bigger than a birthday for me. You understand? So like bigger than my own birthday, I look forward to Carnival. And it's not just Carnival, it's Pan, the Panorama, which happens on the Saturday. I'm a Pan player. It's the first time in my life where I will not be playing Pan for the year, for Panorama, for Carnival, you know, and it means more to a lot of people. So like the mask makers, the masqueraders, the artists, the other soca artists who are there, the DJs. For some of us, is like this is our world, you know, and especially from a Trini Boy Juicy point of view, this is where we as soca artists, in regards to financially, is something that we depend on, you know, in regards to shows. It's something where we can get to celebrate. It's the only light in the year which we naturally get, where we don't have to force to get attention, but where we naturally get, and it's for us to make the most of it. And that part is very hard, you know. I mean, it's very hard to know that, you know, this is a hurdle, it's a huge hurdle, you know, that we all have to, I guess, overcome. But yeah, it's difficult. But then now in the next hat now as Trini Boy Juicy Carnival ambassador, it's like, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than Carnival happening. It's more so for the safety of the wider audience and the people who come in. And I guess we don't want to really give them a reason to force shut it down. So it's best we take front before front take we. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%, brother, 100%. Yeah.
In that sense, you know, I could understand why. I mean, I wouldn't like to. I was creating these little buzz on my social media where I was kind of like little conspiracy. I was like, I know everybody think it's gonna be canceled, but I'm just saying, you never know what people say.
The trouble.
You know, I was posting up these little things and say like the day that we broke the news to the world, you know, that the carnival wasn't happening, I sent out to I had this feeling now, but you know, I had this feeling, man, and the day was so gloomy, and I was like, "Boy, I don't know what it is, but this vibe." But it was the reality. It was the reality that we had to accept. And I guess we have to be positive in looking forward to what may happen. You know, that's the best way to kind of summarize that, but it is hard. It's hard, man, especially when you have a big song and you've been graphing for a lot of years and you finally get the spotlight and you have the bookings. Like I had X amount of bookings that got cancelled, and it's like, yo, where do you move from here, But God is boss, and everything will be all right, man,
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, it's a tough time, but it hasn't stopped us. Well, it stopped Carnival for now. Next year is always there. The roads will be out. The music is still continuing. We will be featuring a video from you shortly. But how have you been keeping busy as an artist, as you said, for a time where you are so looking forward to something? How do you then take away from that distraction and keep yourself busy and entertain the fans all the same?
Well, actually, since the lockdown, I've released 2 projects. So the last 8 weeks or whatever, I've released 2 projects. So as I came back from Trinidad, I had a show in Canada to do, which got cancelled 6 hours before. And I wrote a song called Quarantine. This is before the word became popular and everybody was talking. I never vexed to take long. It's like I wrote the song Quarantine, and then as in Friday, we released a collaboration with myself and a St. Lucian artist, UK-based artist who's from St. Lucia, called Cool Chisel, called Safeb. And it's quite the irony, it's funny because the name of the song is Safeb, and Safeb in Creole is like, that is nothing, you know what I mean? Like, the same day we announced that nothing will cancel, but cancel, and it's like, that is nothing, man. We go overcome that. I've been still releasing music. To be honest, it's been hard to be creative, obviously digesting the reality. So I've been writing here and there, but I've been, I guess, learning about other aspects of marketing, the brand, and developing myself. And I guess so it's about a time to kind of reflect on self and to know what is important, family, spending time, with loved ones, and just
For sure. That's great. So we are going to introduce Quarantine shortly, but before we do that, any social networks, anything you would like to put out there, any message to the fans as Trini Boy the ambassador, of Trini Boy the artist? The platform is yours.
Yeah. Well, you can follow me. I'm seeing the chat thing, but can they see when I type in the chat, or is it the private?
No. That's internal. You're revealing the secrets now.
I was doing this, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, you can follow me on Instagram. So that's at Trini Boy Juicy. It will be out there. You guys will get to see it. But at Trini Boy Juicy, also I guess you guys can stream my music, man. Now is the best time. I guess the artists. We need the support, and the support is via streaming, listening, liking, commenting, sharing the music. So you can follow me on Spotify, on YouTube. That's Trini Boy Juicy. And
okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. I've just been informed by the powers above that is Media Net Live. If you type it in, it's there for the fans to see. So whatever you want to put out there, feel free to type away. There you go. And that's on all social networks?
On all social networks. So once you type in that name via Instagram, well, my Instagram is the main, or you can go to my website. Yeah, you have a website and you know,
Hey, big news, huh?
That's Juicy Music. And where you can get everything is a one-stop hub, you know what I mean, to get everything. So yeah, man, that's the vibes, man.
Big stuff. Loving that. Okay, well, bro, thank you, Trini Boy. It's always a pleasure. Keep with the good music. It's there for everyone to enjoy. The atmosphere may not be right, but the music is still there, so you can party in your house this time. So as I said, it's Quarantine. It's an injustice for me to do it, so please do the introduction.
Right, so the song you guys are going to hear right now, as I'm assuming everybody is on lockdown, safe, following the guidelines. The name of the song is called Quarantine. So it's Trini Boy Juicy, produced by producer Foreign. Check it out on YouTube. The Lifestyle Corner.
Thank you very much, sir. Always a pleasure to have you. Always a pleasure. We'll catch up. Okay, you heard it from the man himself. Trini Boy Juicy, Quarantine. It's the song of the moment because we're all indoors quarantining. Enjoy it. It's loaded. It's going to be a good one. I've actually heard it myself, and he's been very creative with this. As you can see, you can't get into a studio. What do you do? Animation. Enjoy. Hello?
Quarantine. The whole place on a lockdown. Quarantine. Everything on lockdown. So you are tell me not to party, but I addicted to fat. When vibes and alcohol flowing, I party with no regret. Tickets and flights on purchase. Everything it on set. Don't try jumping me with your quarantine vibes. I pushing down the fence. Then we party with mass. Party with mass. Hey. Then we party with mass. Party with mass. Then we party with mass. Party with mass. Hey. Then we party with mass. Infected by soca. Quarantine. What the tell we cannot go party. Quarantine. And we can't touch nobody. Quarantine. Then when we move like alien. Quarantine. Everything on lockdown. Quarantine. What the tell we cannot go party. Quarantine. And we can't touch nobody. Quarantine. The whole place on a lockdown. Quarantine. Everything on lockdown. So you might feel like we no business. I'm not taking it serious. Money spend the party and cancel that ain't making no sense to us. Imagine toilet paper sell out. People panic buying in shops. So if it shit all it was start, let we fuck this party up. Let we party with mass. Party with mass. Hey, let we party with mass. Party with mass. Let we party with mass. Party with mass. Hey, let we party with mass. Infected by soca. Quarantine. What the tell we cannot go party. Quarantine. And we can't touch nobody. Quarantine. Then when we move like alien. Quarantine. Everything on lockdown. Quarantine. What the tell we cannot go party. Quarantine. And we can't touch nobody. Quarantine. The whole place on a lockdown. Quarantine. Everything on lockdown. So you are tell me not to party, but I addicted to fat. When vibes and alcohol flowing, I party with no regret. Tickets and flights on purchase. Everything is on set. Don't try jumping me with your quarantine vibes. I pushing down the fence. Then we party with mass. Party with mass. Hey, then we party with mass. Party with mass. Then we party with mass. Party with mass. Hey, then we party with mass. Infected by soca. Quarantine. What the tell we cannot go party. Quarantine. And we can't touch nobody. Quarantine. Then when we move like alien. Quarantine. Everything on lockdown. Quarantine. What the tell we cannot go party. Quarantine. 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 Everything on lockdown. Quarantine. What the tell we cannot go party. Quarantine. And we can't touch nobody. Quarantine. Then when we move like alien. Quarantine. Everything on lockdown.
Hello.
Yeah.
Right, I have a slight technical audio problem. Can anyone hear me? Hello?
Yep. You feel
You guys
free
hear
to
me?
play ball. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I can't hear myself. I can't hear anyone at the moment. This is a technical glitch on my side. Trini, I would love to ask you more questions, but sadly, I can't actually hear you to be able to ask them. But I do love the video. I can't hear it at the moment, but I heard it before. Classic. Keep up the good work. We will definitely have you back. Okay, so tell us, how did you come about the animation on that one? I'm going to ask it, and yeah. I don't know. Put it out there. Just give me a thumbs up when you finish on your question for that one.
Maybe you guys can hear me all day. Quarantine came about from I said yes. I was in the hotel in Toronto about to go and perform, and it's an event is cancelled. And I was like, so you are telling me not to party, but I addicted to fat. I just came up with the lyrics, and when I came back, big up to my management, Kurt Noel, who actually said to me, yo, send me the lyrics, and he got that together so quick, man. So he's he's doing fantastic work. So yeah, we just thought it would be smart to put that out, and also to get the kids seeing it, you know, and also tell the message of staying home and follow the guidelines, you know.
Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. Trini Boy, I'm going to have to thank you there because I can't see anything. I can't actually hear anything. I'm working on the technicality at the moment. But while we are there, I'm going to then introduce... Oh, Pam, sorry. I can see you can hear me. Can I be very cheeky? I'm going to have to try and possibly do a reboot. I do apologize, guys. This is technology and this is life. Are you able to take back over for a few moments for me there, Pam?
Hey, Trini Boy!
Okay. I can hear you now. There we go. I can hear you now. I have no idea what happened.
I'm going to come out.
Okay.
Hi, Trini Boy!
Hey.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay, weird. I heard Pam, but I can't hear you, Trini Boy. Are you muted?
Hold on, just now. So you are telling me not to party? No, my thing should be working. It's fine.
Okay, no problem. You can hear me. I do apologize. Hey, we're back. Okay. Yeah, no, it's been great. Thank you very much. Time is pushing on though, so I will then go on to another track that we've got at the moment. This is Alba Rossi, and this is another COVID song that's out there. So this is Alba Rossi's new track. Check it out. This is the Entertainment Corner, keeping the music flowing as we do. Unprecedented Times by Alba Rossi. What the hell?
In this unprecedented time. Whoa, yeah. You gotta be strong in your mind. Whoa, yeah. Unprecedented time. Whoa, yeah. You gotta be strong in your mind. Whoa. It's biological conflict, speculations of conspiracy. Maybe the earth will tell us something. Maybe mankind is the toxicity. You'll see the shape of my hands from the window pane. Then one day I will touch your face like I used to do. Unprecedented time. Whoa, yeah. You gotta be strong in your mind. Whoa, yeah. Unprecedented time. Whoa, yeah. You gotta be strong in your mind. In your mind, in your mind, in your mind. Everything cannot be the same again. We don't own a time machine. Clear your thoughts and lock your door. Sanitize your dreams. And what should be the real situation? Nation help nation for the victims, for the heroes. They are angels from ground zero. Whoa, yeah. You gotta be strong in your mind. Whoa, yeah. Unprecedented time. Whoa,
Okay, so we are back, and that was Alborosie and Unprecedented Times. So just a bit more of a feel of what's going on at the moment. And I am back. Can you hear me, Pam? Are we good?
You're not loud and clear.
Good. So as you can see, the wires are back. I tried to be, I'm not going to name the company because they do keep me good, but the wireless weren't working and it all went to pot. But we are back. We are here to enjoy, and it is the entertainment corner. So hopefully that was a bit of entertainment for you. Yeah, we'll work with that one.
Great to see Trinaboy.
Always. He is such a talent. Like, it's great, and I love the way it all came together. Sadly, I didn't hear how it came about, but I will catch it on the replay.
Yeah.
Plugging it there. But no, always great stuff. So as much as it is an entertainment corner, we do have a few sad moments of obituaries. Rick Clark mentioned the closest one to me, not that there are many losses around the world, and sympathy to Annette. Ruddy, Rudolph Fearon, that was a really hard one for myself as well. But in the entertainment industry, there have been a couple of names that have actually passed. Tony Allen, a drummer who's also part of he was part of the Afrobeat movement, if you would, the early stages. You also have the elements of R&B. He was really involved in all forms of music and entertainment. So R.I.P. to him.
Actually, mentioned that he was renowned. They even classed him as the #1 drummer in the world.
There you go. No, a great talent who is definitely going to be missed and out. One to be missed. We did mention. We've also got Andre Harrell, who was the producer and owner of Uptown Records. So P. Diddy, Mary J. Blige, people like that. All of those those great R&B sounds from the 90s. Apparently, it's not confirmed yet, but it is suspected to be COVID that had taken him mysteriously a couple of days ago. So that was one that came out. At the top of the show, we mentioned Little Richard, and also, I don't know if you heard, Pam, Millie Brown passed away recently due to a stroke at 75.
Blessings.
She did indeed. So for the last few minutes of the show, what I thought is we would pay tribute to those that I've mentioned and two of these great artists who made such classical hits out there. So let's start off with Millie Brown and the classic that is My Boy Lollipop.
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah, that again, big shock. It was. I couldn't believe it. With both of them, you just heard stuff and you're just out there in a way that
absolute legends, both of them.
Yeah. Yes. Neither again. It's weird to say. Thankfully, not. Because COVID has taken so many lives, but it was through life, life and has gone on, and this pandemic isn't winning and taking many more faces and names along the way.
And that's what we got to pray for, that it's not going to be more and more names every week. I don't want us to bring in you to keep coming.
No, exactly that.
Absolutely. By the way, and then I was reading a little bit about Little Richard. Quickly say this, that the likes of Elvis Presley and Elton John and that he was their inspiration.
Well, this is it. You've got Little Richard and Chuck Berry with they revolutionized it, and it meant rock, people don't necessarily associate it with our culture, but if you go back far enough, you'll see where the foundations of it began, and strong pioneers, and Little Richard by all means cannot be ignored by any means. He, absolute powerhouse in the industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and he will long be remembered.
Yeah.
Long be remembered.
All time.
Okay, so here we go. You can sit in the corner, guys. Little Richard. This is Long Tall Sally, and you might even get a bit of Tutti Frutti as well. Enjoy.
We may need to turn that volume up somehow.
Yeah, trying to get that one. I mean, you can see the characteristics. Even you can see you can see a natural performer nonetheless. One that will he will be missed. He will be missed.
Did you see that movie just now?
Do you know, it's really funny because during the quarantine, a lot of the stuff I've done is watch like a lot of biopic films and whatnot.
Yeah.
And one of them I ended up watching Bohemian Rhapsody, which was a great film and whatnot. But then we started watching. I know that there's a part where you could compare the film to Live Aid. So I've done that. And on YouTube, what then came after was James Brown and the film that they done about him. There are some artists you cannot compare. No matter how hard Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, to some of you who don't know him, tried to recreate James Brown, the moves that these guys had, these classic moves from your James Brown, your Little Richards, they're larger than life. They were living cartoon characters, I think is the best way to put it.
Because my dad, he got all his moves. He learned it from James Brown. He was always watching here and doing that. Oh, by the way, Dad, happy birthday.
Oh,
happy birthday, Dad.
Yes.
Get that one in.
While we're talking of happy birthday, Dad, is that the other person who calls you Pamela? Sorry, I had to get that in. I heard how many.
The name is Pam. Pamela.
Yeah. No, okay. Well, what can I say? It was Pamela. Pam, I believe this is your moment. What can I say? We've had a great one. It's been there. A few technical hitches, but we're working on it. But again, guys, it has been an absolute pleasure to be back.
I really don't want you to leave it because I did want to say something very quickly because we couldn't get the representative of the carnival. But I just want to say the statement on behalf of Notting Hill Carnival. Obviously, that they had to cancel it this year. Reading out the statement, like all events around the world, the COVID-19 pandemic has meant that Notting Hill Carnival has faced many challenges this year. After lengthy consultations with our strategic partners and our advisory council, the board has taken the decision that this year's carnival will not take place on the streets of Notting Hill, as it has done so for over 50 years. This will also mean that Panorama, the annual steel band competition, will not take place. Notting Hill Carnival has founded to bring people together during trying times, and we intend to continue that legacy. We're working towards an alternate NHSC 2020, and we hope will bring the carnival spirit to people from the safety of their homes and make them feel connected and engaged. This has not been an easy decision to make, but the reality of the COVID-19 pandemic and the way in which it has unfolded means that this is the only safe option. Everyone's health has to come first. That's a statement from Notting Hill Carnival, and we have it there. Right.
Indeed.
This is unprecedented. I hate that word though. It's been used too much, but I've just said it. We actually have Dominic Feddy, chairman of the Tourism Office of St. Lucia, just been told he's actually on the line to speak to us. There's going to be an address by the Prime Minister, Alan Chastanet, this evening, addressing the nation about the lockdown. And I believe I have Mr. Dominic Feddy on the line. Sir, can you hear me? Hopefully that's going to come through.
Okay.
Well, hopefully we're going to get him through for a moment. This has just come through, Anthony. I've just.
I saw a notification. That's why I was like, it's over to you because I could see there was great news there. But yeah, it's one of those things that there are. Okay, Pam, over to you.
Right, Mr. Fiddy, can you see me? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I absolutely can. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you? We're long time.
Yes. Good to see you again.
And you too, sir. You too. Thank you ever so much. I know you have a very busy schedule. We know an important event is going to happen later on in the island, that the Prime Minister, Alan Chastanet, is going to address the nation in regards to the lockdown. We would hope that we could get a link that our people over here could actually tune in at that time of the address. But thank you, sir, for coming through to us. I do have a few questions, and I'm going to kick off with this first one. How has St. Lucia been coping and dealing with the COVID-19 crisis?
I think we've been really good. I think, if I must say, the World Health Organization just a few days ago would have said that we are among only 2 countries in the world to have been corona-free. So we've had at the time 15 recorded cases, 2 of which were British tourists on Ireland, and we've repatriated them. And in addition to that, all of our cases have recovered except for 2. So we've only got 2 positive cases on Ireland. So we're really, really thrilled, and I think that has bolstered a lot of confidence in a lot of the people on Ireland in our health capacity and in the skills and dexterity in the Ministry of Health.
Yeah, I was going to say that next, sort of coming on to that, how has the pandemic impacted on the country's economy when we think about tourism, etc.?
Well, it's been absolutely devastating. As we watch the world economy, it makes us even more nervous. As you know, St. Lucia's economy is dependent on tourism, and there's a complete lockdown. We've got 0 tourists in Ireland. All the restaurants, all the hotels are closed. All the shops are closed. And so we're now focusing on, you know, a very responsible reopening of the economy so that we can put our people back to work. But at the same time, ensure that we optimize and to prioritize the public health situation in Ireland so that a lot of our people can remain safe, and we can at the same time create livelihoods for them.
Yeah, and I mean, you just said it there, tourism is at a standstill. The country's been locked down for weeks now. How do you plan to come out of the crisis? I know I said earlier that the Prime Minister is going to address the country. Is it going to be staggered? Do you think it's going to be a kind of like a tier initiative going on slowly?
Yeah, but it's certainly a phased approach. We've opened certain aspects of the economy. So the construction sector is reopened. The government services and doctors' offices and a whole host of others. Some of our supermarkets have stayed open throughout because they're essential services, home and convenience stores. So there's a gradual reopening of our economy with a view to striking a balance between taking care of this pandemic, which we've done so successfully, but at the same time to ensure that it doesn't bankrupt the country. From the economic standpoint, we have seen an absolute devastation, like I've said. The government revenues have fallen by about 70%, which really has become a real problem for small countries, not just in St. Lucia, but in the Caribbean. And now it is becoming extremely difficult to run government because of the revenue losses which we have endured in the past months. I mean, this is absolutely fluid. We see that big corporations all over the world are having tremendous difficulty, and the same applies here in St. Lucia, where our companies are a bit smaller in terms of size and scale, but they too are feeling the effects of this pandemic, which really has been nothing but a devastation so far economically.
Yeah, of course. But, you know, we talk about how St. Lucia, no deaths. You're saying literally 15, 16, 17, if you will. But how do you attribute that success in keeping the records down to that level, no deaths at all, compared to the rest of the world? What is it that you did?
I think that we shut down pretty early. I think there are 3 things, you know, social distancing, testing, very important from very early on. And so if you go into Castries now, they're going to be 9.5 out of every 10 individuals you see will be wearing a mask, because we've all taken this on board, that this is a serious pandemic, that this is a health crisis. And regular updates, daily updates, a lot of health information, giving the Ministry of Health a lot of support. So we had a very all hands on deck situation where every department in the government was playing a role in helping the Ministry of Health in some way to fight the pandemic that we were facing at this present time. And so our team really we just followed the global rules, and we did so without complaining. And there was a week where we had a 24-hour lockdown where no one went nowhere, no supermarket, nothing was open. Everyone just stayed at home. And I think that played a significant role in what we're doing. So I think we've got to be, we've got to take some short-term pain to the long-term gain. If we don't do the shutdown right, if we don't do all the things that are necessary with coronavirus right, we're going to go through it much longer than is required.
It sounds to me that he's saying what you're saying. Perhaps Prime Minister Anastasiou will not be.
Okay, I can't hear you. I'm going to have to take a minute to come back in because I can't hear you now. A call
All
came
right.
in.
Do that, sir. Because
Yeah, just give me 1 minute.
no problem. Okay. Okay, Anthony, let's quickly get you on there whilst Mr. Fetty is trying to reconnect. Certain things that he did say there, it sounded to me, the one question that I was going to ask him was the fact that, you know, if he's talking about the fact they're keeping everybody in, it sounds to me that the Prime Minister is not really going to open up too widely. What do you say to that? It
Well,
is that way.
You can see that it's working. You can see the strength in what's happened. It's a positive move. You create your social distancing, you do your test, and you keep everyone inside. Look at the results. You know, it's a very good result out there. It's a very positive number.
Right. We've got Dominic back. Thank you, Anthony. Dominic, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Absolutely, loud and clear.
Excellent. Yeah. I'm just going to say that last bit when you spoke there. I got a hint from that in his address today. It doesn't sound as if Prime Minister Alan Chastanet is going to really give much, only a limited amount of lifting of restrictions.
No, we're going to go back now into implementing key sectors like tourism, as scary as that sounds. But what I think COVID has done, in the same way that 9/11 has done, it is going to change the way that we travel for the rest of our lives. And so what St. Lucia has been doing is to be very proactive. And we ask ourselves, even while we were in the lockdown, we were meeting in the cabinet and with the health officials to say, okay, there is stage 1, there is stage 2, there is stage 3 in the public health fight. But we created a new stage called stage 4. And we said, what is stage 4 going to look like for our hotels? So it means that, therefore, if someone is leaving Gatwick Airport to come to St. Lucia, we're going to require them to have a rapid test. Now, we know with the rapid test, it is not completely reliable. And so, therefore, you come through our airports, your temperatures are going to have to be checked. And if there is anyone that has a fever that resembles anything like a symptom related to coronavirus, we're going to isolate you. We're going to quarantine you in your hotel, and we're going to monitor you until we can test you. It will require 24 hours in terms of isolation so that we can do a proper test to ensure that you are negative. And I think we've got to now make sure all of the hotel employees, in the same way you run a hospital, that they are wearing PPE supplies, that the place is properly sanitized, that people are socially distanced, that we don't do any buffets, that we ensure that we have limited excursions. We don't want people to go into clusters of our towns and villages, but rather to go visit in an orderly, organized, managed manner, to go visit some of our sites and attractions and some of the beauty of our country. But I think that the new reality of COVID and how tourism is going to work, it is going to change forever. A lot of the airlines we're talking to have already agreed with us on the American side that they are going to have no middle seating. So you're going to have seats on the windows and also in the aisle. Unless a family is traveling, of course, then you can put them together. And these are a lot of the procedures that we have just thrashed out in order to make our country safe for the workers of St. Lucia, for the tourists that are coming from all of our major source markets, and as well in the best interest of this global pandemic, which is affecting all of us, whether we are a small country, whether we are a big country like the United Kingdom. And so what we've got to make sure is we continue sharing information, learn from each other, and work in the best interest of each other.
Yeah. And that's what part and parcel of it is, that every country is looking at the second peak, if you will, that if you lift too many restrictions, that may happen. And so this is what St. Lucia obviously is thinking about rather seriously.
Rather seriously, but it has to be managed. It has to be highly regulated. We were on a call with our hoteliers yesterday, and we've indicated to them that what you know tourism to be like, just say goodbye to that, because life has changed and there's a new normal in tourism, and the SOPs are going to have to be extremely stringent in the best interest of everyone. So you've got to make sure that when you say lockdown, you are locked down. You know, I saw an interview with some of the people from some of the eastern south Southeast Asian countries. And they were asked, why hasn't the West been so successful in containing this virus as places like Taiwan and Singapore and Hong Kong has been? And they said, listen, when you say lockdown, you must mean lockdown. It cannot be that you're locked down and people are out in the parks. It cannot be locked down and people are out and about in the streets. It cannot be, you're a lockdown, you're a lockdown. Do it properly for 2 weeks, and then everyone can move on with life. I mean, you can take inspiration from how the Chinese have just come out of this. You've just got to lay the gauntlet down. This is what it is. If we don't follow the rules, all of us will die. And that is simply it. There's no if, buts, maybes. And we have just had a very, very, very strong and draconian measure on it. If you know the island well, we've actually put checkpoints and zones. We've put curfews in place. The police patrols are there. And if there are people who are found in the streets that are not supposed to be there, you know what, you're arrested. You've just broken the law. The first thing we did is that we declared a national emergency. And that national emergency, what it did, it gave the government certain powers in order to put curfews in place at a whim, and to ensure that other legal things that you need to do, that is in place from very early on. So unless you social distance, unless you test, it is difficult to know what you're dealing with. Sensitize, social distance, test, and you're going to win this fight.
Well, St. Lucia certainly winning the fight. And I was wondering, because you have been to the UK several times, and I know you're keeping up to date with what's happening in the UK. And when I hear you say that when you say lockdown, it shouldn't be lockdown, obviously, we have a semi-lockdown. What do you think of that? You know, the government of St. Lucia, when you look at the UK and how we've dealt with it.
Well, you know, it's very straightforward. A lockdown is like being in love. Are you in love or you're not in love? It's yes or no. It can't be semi or partial. You've got to enforce it. And I know cultures are different, and what governments can do in various countries, it might be harder to do in other countries. I know that the Asian countries have a history of subjugation, and what their governments can do, governments in the West may find difficult. So I think that we've got to cooperate as well as citizens to ensure that we make the enforcement right. You know, you're not going to die by not going to the coffee shop for a couple weeks. You know, you're not going to die if you don't go to the theater. You're not going to die if you don't go to the mall. A lot of the things that we have refused to stay away from are not necessities in life, you know. Once there's food at home and your family as well, I think that's important for 2 weeks. And you've got to just be very simple and matter-of-factly about this. And I think that this is what we've done. Did we get political pressure? Yes, we absolutely did. But a lot of those people who, originally criticized the shutdowns or the lockdowns and said that you were too draconian, when the results came out, you just shut them off.
There you are. There you are. My last question. I mean, this is a brief because I've only been told this. I just literally got some information about this, but I understand that Prime Minister Alan Chastity has been appointed as the Administrator for Border Control across the Caribbean.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're taking a regional approach as it relates to how we open tourism back up. Several countries have got several dates. I chair the Caribbean Tourism Organization as well as St. Lucia's Minister of Tourism. And so we are working very assiduously to ensure that we have a regional approach to tourism. We're going to focus on the accommodation sector first. We are nowhere ready for cruise ships. That's a whole different ballgame. And that's a whole different management and scenario. But what we're going to do is we're going to have very, very small amounts of tourists on each destination that we can manage. Luckily for us, our tourism is not city-based. It is more on peninsulas and enclaves. And so hotels are like communities that are socially distanced naturally. and we are going to be able to control those situations. We've put in a number of protocols. One, to try to make it easy for the guests, but we've made it clear to all of our stakeholders that what travel is, don't expect it to be pre-COVID. It's a new thing. You know, in the same way that before 9/11, you didn't have to take your shoes off. You didn't have to go through these machines that scan your entire body. You didn't have to take off your belt. But now COVID is going to cause you traveling to do some things. And I think that it's important that we all do that to keep each other safe. I think the risk alternatively is too great. But back to the question on the Prime Minister, he has been a superb leader in leading the country through this. He's made a lot of time and addressed the nation at every point. Our cabinet, for example, have been virtual or socially distanced. Our parliament, for example, has been reduced in terms of the number of people who have been able to sit in the chamber at any given time when we go there to make a specific law. And, you know, we've just had to change life. You know, supermarkets have had to put in protocols. If you don't have those protocols and you're not passed by the public health agency, you just don't open. Simple. If you violate the protocols, we shut you down. We've had a situation where a call center and a few other businesses were shut down because they didn't follow the protocols. And we've just been very strict and matter-of-factly about it. We've got police checkpoints all over the island to make sure that people are staying in their zones. We've zoned the country. And we've said all you need right now, you need a bank, you need a supermarket, and you need a petrol station. That's it. And, you know, once we zone the country and you can get those things in your area, you don't need to be going in different parts of the country that you don't need to be. And these are some of the things that we have done in ensuring that we keep the country safe. But in doing so, what you do is you curtail access for vulnerable people to access supermarkets in a lockdown and access food. So the government has had to also step in to provide care for those individuals. Our hospitals have been upgraded. Luckily for St. Lucia, we had a new hospital, a state-of-the-art hospital, which is called the European Union Hospital, which was a grant we got from the European Union, and we were able to open the facility, which had a very positive impact on our healthcare capacity. In addition to that, our old general hospital, or the previous general hospital, we have just redesigned it with the World Bank to become a respiratory hospital. And many St. Lucians who are watching might know it as the Victoria Hospital. And that hospital is where we take positive patients into care. The other thing is that we've been very strict in quarantine. So with our hotels being closed, we've used a lot of the hotel facilities as quarantine, where at present we have about 300 cruise ship workers who have returned from the United States, which has now become the global epicenter for this virus. And we said that you can't go back into community unless you have been medically managed and monitored for 14 days. And so once you do that and you're strict in the quarantine, then you're absolutely fine. So you could be the Prime Minister, you could be a government minister. Once you're out, you have to be quarantined. And we've had to set an example in various cases. I mean, I've been into a petrol station once in the convenience store, and I forgot my mask in the car, and you should see how people went at me, and I had to go get my mask back in the car. So there's that level of sensitization that none of us are getting off the hook here now, you know, regardless of who you are. Absolutely. Wear your mask. We're gonna do this well. We're gonna do this right. And if Minister, we're very sorry. If you don't put your mask on, you just can't come in. Yeah. And I'm just so proud of the way that St. Lucians have behaved. I think that it has brought the best out of them. Absolutely. I was so proud, you know, sometimes as small countries, you don't get to be a world leader in too many things. And, you know, I was very, very proud to see when the World Health Organization named two small countries, St. Lucia and St. Barth, as the two countries that were in the green, because for an entire week we had 0 positive cases.
Yes.
We have a situation where neighboring Martinique, because of there being like a European territory, they have had a lot of cases there, and we do have some of our nationals who have been living there, and they have come through the back door.
Oh, okay. Oh, very good there, is it? I think we've
avoid the quarantine.
Yes.
Be stringent and to lay the gauntlet down and to lay the law down.
Yeah, of course. Well, this is why St. Lucia is a success story. You've done it right. You've done it completely right. At this point, I have to say to you, thank you ever so much, Dominic Feddy, Minister of Tourism, St. Lucia. Thank you ever so much for talking to us and sparing the time to speak to us today. Thank you, sir, and do take very good care of yourself.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that was some really, really interesting news. I'm just seeing the time. We are over like nobody's business. So I just want to say thank you so much. 2 hours have flown by quicker than I could ever imagine. It's great for Lifestyle to be back. Thank you to everyone who's joined us on Facebook, YouTube, all the networks. Thank you to MediaNet Live for promoting this in such a way. Thank you, Pam. It's been great to see you again. I just want to, my last message is Happy International Mother's Day. Over in the UK, we had it earlier in March, I believe. That's the one. But I've got aunties, I've got family all over the world, and there are ladies all over the world who deserve it. So I'm just putting a big, huge international Happy Mother's Day out to you all.
Exactly. Not to forget that you can watch this show. Any friends or family that have missed today's show here, they can watch it again on Ben TV Sky platform 458 from 10 till 12 noon, and that's going to be on the 15th. And that is on Friday the 15th from 10 a.m. till 12 noon, and that is Sky 458.
Spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
It's been an amazing experience. But Anthony and I will have to reiterate this, and every time we end this show, we got to say these words: stay safe, stay strong, save lives.
Indeed. And as you just saw from the previous minister, keep the distance. As much as it's tempting, it's worth the wait. Good things come to those who wait. Keep your distance. You can have that hug when the time is right.
Yeah.
Until then, do what we're doing. 2 different screens. There you go. Virtual hug. There you go.
Blessings to you all, and we're back again next week, same time.
That's the one. See ya.